Good everyone, on today's video. Today we have a review on the British Starter Pack. As you may have been noticing, I've been doing this very similarly to the Premium Showcase series, with one per week until I get all of them done. Of course, once the Chinese get their own starter pack, I'll cover that, so don't worry. And today we have the British Starter Pack. And again, it's the weird situation where the plane is kind of poor for the job, but the tank is actually quite good. It's very similar to the German Starter Pack. However, the British Starter Pack has a better plane, but not by much. Let's just say that. Now, of course, I'm not really going to do like a ranking system for this, but if I was to personally suggest where to put the Spitfire, not the Spitfire, the pack itself, because obviously this pack is the same as the others, it's just different vehicles. You still get 1 week of premium, and you also get 120,000 SL. But if I was to personally put them in order, the Great Britain pack would probably be slap bang in the middle because the plane's better than the one you get in Germany. Um, the US and the Russians would be sharing near the top spot, same with France. And, well, we'll just have to cross that bridge when we come to it, when it comes to France and all the other nations, won't we? But Italy, as you're going to see when I review that, yeah, that's slap bang in dead last position, let's put it that way. So starting out with a plane, we have the Spitfire Mark II Venture 1. I've covered this thing in a review already, that will be linked in the description below. And where do I start? Like it's capable, don't get me wrong, but for a new player with the way the early Spits are nowadays, I personally wouldn't. Now that's not to say it's bad in its role. It can certainly do anti-gas pretty well, it can strafe out light vehicles quite well because 7.7 Brownies tend to do that. But at the same time, it's just why, when there's literally an aircraft in the tech tree that can replace this thing, and would actually benefit the tank in the long run because it does an up tier at 2.7 where it can meet 3.7. That is if you just use the tank and the plane, by the way. That's what I'm assuming, but of course, over time you wouldn't. But you understand my point. So let's quickly go over how I would replace the Spitfire because, like I say, it's a good plane. It's got good performance, good turn, good guns. I mean, not long range, but we'll gloss over that. And it has no ordnance options. Of course, I mentioned this more in depth in the review of this aircraft, but there's actually two aircraft. It's just the other one is at 2.7, and I personally wouldn't suggest that because then you'll be putting the tank in the same situation as this. But at least that plane will be able to, provide more, shall we say, more effective results. So looking at it, we have the Hudson. This is the one I should recommend it be replaced by. The Hudson provides great turrets, great armament overall, good bomb load, and just in general, it is just something that you don't expect. And having a bomber as the starter pack aircraft would make this thing stick out like a sore thumb, but at the same time, it would provide the Great Britain pack with what's known in the trade as a unique selling point. That's a business term. And what it means is that this pack has something over the others that the others don't have, and that makes it unique. The other aircraft I recommend to replace it with is the Corsair F Mark II. Again, if you really want me to, if you really want to have a look and see if this might replace the Spitfire in its role, I'll link this thing's review in the description. Trust me, it's worth the money. But like I say, I don't think this is a bad plane. I just don't think it's a good option. It's better than the German starter pack premium, the 112B1U2, by a country mile, but that's not saying much. But then we come to the tank, the Crusader, the Saints are marching in. If anyone remembers that old song, please do let me know, because I used to have to sing that when I was like, what, 7? Or something like that. I remembered it for nearly 14 years. Call me a saddo if you want. This tank is no different to a regular Tech Tree Crusader as the Spitfire is with the Mark II Spitfire in the Tech Tree, which you can unlock for free. these vehicles are no different, and you'll notice that throughout the majority of these starter packs is they're really no different to the vehicles that you see in the tech tree. If you're curious about the differences between the Spitfire and a regular tech tree Spitfire, it's literally just a sticker licked on and stuck on the side. When it comes to the Crusader, it is based off I think it's the 5th Royal Hussars who served in the North African campaign, and they use Crusaders to pretty good effect. That's pretty much the only difference. That's why the name the Saint with its tank turret number and this small insignia here is the way it is, because that's what the tank is based off. Now, the tank itself does come with a good 2-pounder cannon. Of course, in 3.3 matches, it will start to struggle. And if I had to assume the average new player, they may up tier it with the Spitfire to 3.7, where it is going to struggle even further. However, I still think it's a good vehicle regardless, but it does have its flaws, but hardly any. And that's what really benefits this pack because of how good this vehicle is. It's just extremely capable at what it does, but it's also good at providing support to the plane. Because obviously the tank is what you're going to use first, and if you're taken out in the tank, you can come back in the plane. And this thing can scout, this thing's got a good gun, which can deal with the majority of targets at its tier. The coaxial machine gun has a high rate of fire, so if you need to take out a light vehicle and you don't want to use the two-pounder, like on a Russian milk truck or something, it is definitely excellent in that task. And of course, you do have the frontal turret as well. Now, of course, if you lose a crew member in the turret or you lose the driver, this guy will replace it. So this may not be around for long because the Crusader's armor is not exactly strong. But remember, this is a cruiser tank, not a heavy tank or a medium tank. Of course, in-game it's designated as a light tank. It pretty much fulfills the same purpose. Now, another thing about the German, or not the German, the British starter pack that benefits over, I think, the rest of them, which, let me just think about that. Yes, it does. It benefits over the other tanks the Crusader does by getting smoke grenades. Now, of course, you will need a keybind for this, but it's really simple to set up. And personally, I just use the tab key because then my pinky finger actually gets to do something. Um, and that way you can drop 26, smoke grenades. And with the high rate of fire of both the gun and the smoke grenade launcher, you can easily shoot and change position rather adequately because of how quick this thing is. And finally, recommended shell for the Crusader the Saint is the Shot Mark 9B APCBC/T. Yeah, look at that penetration, which for a 2-pounder at 2.3, and bear in mind the reserves get this penetration, just remember that, is actually pretty insane. And, well, what can I say? Like, it's a cracking gun. Now, I do recommend carrying at least 5 of these. These are Shell Mark 1 APTs. These are APHE rounds. They carry 21 grams of explosive. I know it says 20.9, but I'm rounding it up. And whilst its penetration does drop off quite severely, it can still do additional damage where the APCBCT can't. So just remember that. But only carry about 5 of these, and for these, I'd recommend about 40. But that's the end of the review. Obviously, in terms of getting this pack, I would personally suggest it. It's a good pack, but like I say, it does have its flaws. But if you're definitely looking for a nice middle of the road starter pack to get you started with, and you don't want something too ridiculous or anything like that, I definitely recommend the British one because of how capable it can be if you replace the Spitfire. Because remember, it's not all about the tanks that you can back it up, because the British light tanks can come in real good at 2.3. But if you really want to replace it early on, get the Wirraway. This is certainly something that is a great strike aircraft. Whilst it's slow, rips at about 260 miles an hour, and doesn't have the most effective bomb load, it's still a lot of fun. If you want to up that, go for the Havoc. And if you really want to up that, as I said, buy the Hudson. But I hope you enjoyed today's review on the British Starter Pack. Like I say, for $9.99, obviously I got it on sale, so it costs like £2. I would personally recommend it. It's a good pack, although, as I said, the plane isn't the best. But it's certainly better than the German starter pack premium plane. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's review on the British starter pack. Next up well, I say that. Next week will be the Japanese starter pack, which again is a good, solid pack, but does have its flaws. I'll see you all on the next one.